On today's episode of Audit Austin Code Compliance, we're going to go right to the top of the ladder. This is Elaine Hart. She is our interim city manager. Here in Austin, we have a city manager form of government. We have Elaine Hart. And I've reached out to Elaine Hart's office, and I've not talked to Elaine, but I have talked to her staff, and expressed my years of frustration with Austin Code and the fact that Miss Cora Wright, who is, again, an interim position, who is over Austin Code, refuses to address the issues. And so let me show you how our city government is set up. This is the flow chart for the city of Austin. And you can see here, right up on top, Austin residents are on very top of the flow chart. We elect our mayor and our city council, and we are a city manager form of government, and the interim city manager is Miss Elaine Hart. So the city manager runs everything below here. All of the city employees work for the city manager. And so out of that division is the public safety division. Ray Alario, who is totally worthless when it comes to addressing the code issues, and then Miss Cora Wright, who is the interim director of Austin Code. So, Cora refuses to clean her own house. Ray, again, is useless. And so we're going right to the city manager. And I said, listen, we have to address this issue. I was given back down to somebody in human resources. So if we look at the pecking order, again, here's the city manager right here. You come down to all of the departments. You go over to support services. That city manager is Mr. Mark Washington. And you come down here toward the bottom of that division, and you have the human resources department. Jana Hayes, who is the director. Okay? So Cora Wright, right over here in public safety, refuses to clean her own house. So she went back to human resources and found a patsy and said, listen, we need you to take a look at this. And this is what we came up with. So here's the email I received from Tracy Allen from the HR department. And again, Elaine Hart is not there, but Jason Alexander, who works for her, I've been trying to get him to understand, but again, he just referred it back to Ray Alario, who is the assistant city manager over code. You got Cora Wright, Richard Ricardo Ramirez, and Paul Tomasovic, again, the three stooges from the Austin Code Department. So there's a big long email here, and this is all going back over multiple times that Troy Collins has falsified his case logs and just closed cases. And more importantly, it isn't just one, but Tracy Allen has just followed up on one of these and just closed the whole thing. Typical city of Austin sideshow. So she states, Mr. Flatt, I received your email Sunday, October 15th, asking about the status of the concern of Mr. Collins that you previously communicated to our office. The communication is to provide you a response to your concerns to the extent that is appropriate. And again, she's claiming, and this is the reason it went to HR, is they're going, oh, wait a minute, it's an employee issue and we can't talk about it. Cora refuses to clean her own house. So, Miss Elaine Hart, it is up to you to pick up the ball. So, she says, as far as the code case at the 508 Brazos Street, and there were many of them, but this is the one where the woman drove her car off the 7th floor and damn near got killed, and Troy Collins was there beforehand. I said that he grossly mishandled the response and documentation associated with 508 Brazos Street, the case inspection. The official response is Austin Code Department performed a review of the pertinent records, case documentation, and available videos related to the parking garage at 508 Brazos Street. After a careful review of the case file, Austin Code identified gaps in the case follow-up and case documentation relative to standard operating procedures. That's fancy for he falsified his case logs and just closed the case, and someone damn near got killed. As per this review, the department has taken appropriate measures to address the concerns identified. But this employee still works for them. Criminal background investigation, CBIs, arrest records, assault, insurance fraud. And Collins lied on his application. A concern that Mr. Collins has a criminal history record that should presumably preclude him from employment with the City of Austin Code Department. Additionally, allegations of the City Auditor's Integrity Unit that Austin Code may not have performed criminal background investigations on 4 employees, Collins, Guyton, and Rainey, and the 4th employee, Mr. Maldonado. Austin Code follows the City of Austin process for policies with respect to performing criminal background checks on new and current employees. Per the city's procedure, each of these individuals has been reviewed based on the city's CBI requirements, which consider the nature of the job, the nature of any criminal convictions, and the length of time passed since the criminal conviction. Based on this review, each of the 3 current employees is qualified for employment with the city in their current jobs. The former employee was also qualified for his position prior to separation. So the fact of the matter is that Troy Collins lied on his employment application. He's a convicted thief. He has been arrested for assault and assault with a deadly weapon, but that's okay. He still qualifies to wear a badge and come into people's homes. And they're saying everything is fine, that he could still work as a code inspector for the City of Austin. But he cannot be a registered code enforcement officer for the state of Texas with those type of things. Nor can Alan Guyton, who just recently pled guilty to insurance fraud. He and his wife tried to defraud an insurance company out of greater than $20,000. He can't work. He cannot have a certification from the state of Texas with that kind of conviction. But here's the kicker. They don't have to have that certification to be code inspectors for the City of Austin. The state doesn't require that. But the city likes to have their people certified so they can follow back up on that and go, listen, we're certified by the state. So if they're not going to pull the certifications, I guess I'm going to have to go to the state. It can be up to a 2-year process and show that we still have a problem inside the City of Austin. I know I wouldn't want either one of these guys around my family or my home. So, the allegation that Mr. Collins has lied on his employment application by leaving out information about his arrest and conviction record. While Austin Code does not take the formal position on Mr. Collins' intent while submitting the application, a review of the application shows that answers to the conviction record were omitted. He lied. Right here, they're saying he lied on his employment application. As stated in our previous response, Austin Code follows the City of Austin process and policies with respect to performing criminal background checks on new and current employees. Mr. Collins was hired presumably having met the city's employment and CBI requirements in 2006. They never said that he had the background check. They admit that he lied. They said that they presume in 2006, when he was hired to work for the trash department, that they had the CBI, the criminal background check. It was in place. The code department didn't come around until 2008, 2009. Thank you once again for pointing out your observations and concerns. We hope this information is responsive to your inquiry. Hell no. Again, the patsy is Tracy Allen from the Human Resources Department. They didn't address any of them. They used a bunch of double talk. So here it is. Let's go back down here. Here again is the Elaine Hart. Here I am in front of City Hall for Ray and the previous code director. I've promised that I will put this photo on a poster and go out in front of City Hall again. And this is why. You come down here, this is an email from the building official, Jose Rogue, the chief building official for the City of Austin, when it comes to this Littlefield garage. Now, this is one that Troy Collins signed off on, closed the case. He stated to other city officials, the repairs done last year on level 9 were not permitted. Troy Collins said in his case log that permits were filed for. We did not receive a request for a permit or engineering details on the repairs. The engineer letter provided to Austin Code Department on those repairs states the repairs were done in accordance and compliance with the 2012 existing building code, that damaged cables and anchor ends were removed and replaced with new cables and anchors, and that the barrier system has been constructed in general requirements of applicable laws, building codes, and ordinances relating to repairs of existing buildings. Per our visit and observation on the cables on the 9th floor, it does not appear the cables were replaced and they were also loose. What the hell does Tracy Allen not understand about that? That Mr. Troy Collins lied when he grossly mishandled the response. They're going, hey, listen, there were some gaps, but we've addressed that. That's just one of many addresses. You can see here that the City of Austin Human Resources Department has just fallen in line with the Code Department. Cora Wright, Ricardo, Paul, the Three Stooges. So now I'm having to call out this woman right here. You're the interim city manager. When are you going to clean house and hold these people accountable?